but she kind of made it where I wanted to become a better version of myself and just a better person in general.
I just had a very energizing conversation with Kelly Storie. Kelly is a woman of adventure. She likes off-roading in her Jeep, riding on the edge of the mountain. She's trained with the Navy SEALs. She can defend herself. You're going to love hearing from Kelly Storie. Today, my guest is Kelly Storie. And Kelly, I want to welcome you to our podcast today.
Thank you, Kathy. It's good to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have this conversation with you. And I know I hear so many positive things about you from your coworkers. You're one of those upbeat, positive, happy people. So
That's good
I
to
want to
hear.
understand more about what makes you that way. So first, tell us a little bit about what you do for C&G and how long you've worked for us.
I've been here for 11 and a half years,
Mm-hmm.
and I am now the customer account manager, which
Okay.
is an accomplishment all on its own just for the title because we struggled and we worked hard to get our new titles, which is
Mm-hmm.
account
Mm-hmm.
specialist, senior account specialist, and it's more representing what the team actually does.
Okay.
We were customer service and not anything against the actual customer service representative titles,
Yeah.
but it didn't explain exactly what we did. All of the
Mm-hmm.
girls and the gals up or the guys up there, they manage accounts and they are the first person in the front line with the customers. So I wanted, and Tawny and I and our team got together and we just wanted to make sure that we had a title that described what they actually did. So I think everyone's extremely happy and extremely proud now to say they're a customer account specialist or a customer
Mm-hmm.
account manager. So it's nice to be able to sit here and say that I'm a customer account manager
Yeah,
now.
I love that. So what you do is super important because you're like like you said, the front line. You're
Yep.
the first one the customer talks to. That impression they have of C&G, you shape it.
Yep.
So tell me about that.
It can go good or bad. So if they have a bad experience from the
Yes.
get-go, which we want to avoid at all costs.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to make sure that the customer feels like they are number one in our eyes because they are
Mm-hmm.
number one.
Yeah.
That we want to make sure that they can trust us. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
key to all of our relationships with our customers
Mm-hmm.
is I want them to know that I have their back and that if they send me an order, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make sure that that order gets to them when they need it and make it a very stress-free process for them. You do build that relationship. And I have a very strong bonds with some of my customers because you do talk to them every day, all day
Mm-hmm.
long. Some more than others. Some they don't even bother you because they know that you got them and they're going to get what they need when they need it.
Mm-hmm. So you have that ability to really anticipate what each customer is going to need because it's all different, right?
Yep. Now you do have those moments where things might not go according to schedule or according to plan, but it's how you handle those moments with the customer. And you want them to know that, hey, you are doing everything that you possibly can to help them and do what they need.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all you do for
Thank
us
you.
because you're a real difference maker.
Thank you.
So tell me, how do you keep yourself all together outside of work? What do you do to sort of, because I would imagine some days are very stressful. So what do you do to
They
relax?
are. Some days are very stressful. I have my stepson at home, and he's amazing. He does jujitsu, so we do a lot of that. He likes to practice on me, which I'm not very good. Um, but we do that entertains me, and we do a lot of off roading with our jeeps, and we go on all kinds of different trips, and it's a lot of fun. We got a little group that we'll coordinate a house or a cabin and we'll go and we'll travel 6 hours. Sometimes we'll go across the country and we'll stay a whole week out in Utah or California. But it's the moments that are in between those road trips that are a lot of fun. We do take the kid with us, and he's always making it fun.
Hmm.
But so we enjoy the off roading, and it's a little nerve wracking when you're on the side of the mountain and you look down and there's the end of the cliff, and you're like, oh,
Oh,
I hope I don't roll.
oh my gosh. So are you driving? Are you in the
I'm
passenger?
usually in the passenger seat.
Okay.
So, my fiancé does the driving, and he's done it since he was a teenager, so I have all the trust in the world in him, obviously.
Obviously.
The girls are always like, "Why aren't you going on a beach?" I'm like, "There's no excitement on the beach." I mean, you
Hmm.
can, but there's the excitement in the I might roll over and die.
Yeah, thrilling. That's
Yep.
thrilling.
They're like, "You have to come to work on Monday, so make sure that doesn't
Yeah,
happen."
yeah, exactly. Please, please. So where's the best what's the best trip you've ever taken? Like, is there a certain place?
There's a couple different places, but last year we went out to California and we drive and haul our Jeeps out
From
there
Ohio
from
here?
Ohio out to California. So it's about a 3-day trip to get out there. And then we camped the entire time. So in California, we woke up in 35-degree windy weather, which I didn't pack, Ohio clothes. I packed California clothes. So that was interesting. But then we drove up to Northern California and we saw some of the most amazing scenery, the waterfalls, the trails, the rocks, the cliffs. It was just beautiful. So
Yeah.
we'll probably do that again, and we found a spot that we wanna camp out the next time we go there. And
Mhm.
then we went to Utah, and we ended up camping out in 115-degree weather, which was not pleasant at all. So
Like in one of the national parks or
yep. Oh, we went to Moab. It's
Oh,
beautiful out there,
yeah,
the
I've
red
been there.
rocks, yeah.
It's unlike anything else,
It
I
is.
think.
We've gone there a couple times. This
Mhm.
last trip that we just took was pretty epic. We had to buy a new truck because ours broke in Illinois. And then a friend of
Wait, you
ours,
hardly got anywhere. You went
I
from Ohio
know.
to Illinois and the truck or the Jeep broke?
Yes, yes, we ended up in Peru, Illinois.
Oh, wow,
And so the
okay.
next morning we were at the dealership and we're like, okay, so what are our options? I'm like, we can't go back, we can't go forward, so we got to figure it out. So we just said, we'll buy a new truck. So we bought a new truck, transferred all of our stuff over to the new one and kept on rolling down the road. Then our friend of ours called and he had all of his stuff stolen out of his truck.
Oh,
So
on
we're
the
like
same
on the
trip?
same trip. That was like Saturday. So we're like, "Oh man, we just need to get to Moab." So Sunday morning we wake up and everyone's like relocating like, "Okay, where are we? Where are you? Where are we?" And we had three other buddies that were ahead of us and they're like, "So my Jeep and truck got stolen last night." And we're like,
Oh my
"What?"
gosh, Kelly.
I looked at my
I
fiance and I just started laughing. I'm like, "We can't make this up." Like, "Oh my
no.
goodness." So everybody had something that went wrong on that trip. I'm like, "We just need to go and park." I don't even know if we
Yes.
wanna go on trails at this point, let's just go and park.
Uh-huh.
So,
And so you did?
we finally all made it to Moab, we ended up having a night where we just kinda debriefed, and it was like, "Okay, now tomorrow is another day, and we'll go on to the trails," and it was a really relaxing trip, but
Yeah.
after we got there.
Yeah, so then you had to, like, get rid of the bad karma and
Yeah,
kinda
yeah, it was
change
a
the direction.
lot.
Do you do any, like, whitewater rafting or
No, I'm a little afraid to do whitewater rafting. I'm afraid that I'm gonna get flipped upside down and drown. So I'll probably skip that.
Wait, 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 okay. So you can drive on the edge of the mountain and maybe fall off, but you're afraid you're gonna drown in the whitewater raft.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Did
I
you have a bad experience?
No, not at all. I've never been. I think it looks like fun, and I'll probably try it because I like to try new things.
Mhm.
But water is one of them things as I'm getting older, like, I have more of a fear. We were swimming in the swimming pool at Moab at the condo, and I'm pretty sure my stepson was trying to, like, drown me at one point. I'm like, "Ah," I'm like, "I'm going to die." So,
Was he doing jujitsu on you in the pool or
he might have been, I don't know. I was flopping around. I was like, "Oh, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no." But, yeah, it's just something as I'm getting older, that's one of the fears I've had. But I can go on a cliff and I can maybe roll off, but hopefully there's no water at the end.
Yeah, I get that about the water though, because one time I was out boating with my 2 daughters, this was, about 10 years ago, and they wanted, to jump off holding hands off the back of the boat to get the picture,
Oh,
right, of that. And so I'm like, "Okay, and I just in the moment did it. And so, we hold hands, we jump off, and we're in the middle of this lake that's 130 feet deep.
oh,
And all of a sudden I panicked, because
yep.
you just so all of a sudden you're in the deep end and you're like, "Oh my
There's a
god."
long way
I
down.
didn't anticipate what was gonna happen after we jumped
No,
in.
it's always a fun time, but I would like to do the whitewater rafting at some point. Kayaking, I don't think I'll ever do because that's another one I don't think I wanna do that.
So relaxing for you sounds like an adventure.
Yeah,
Like, but that's fun for you. Like,
it is.
that's how you unwind and
I'm not one to wanna sit and
yeah,
not do something.
yeah,
So, I mean, I'll relax and I'll sit on the patio for, an hour or 2, but after that, I just get stir crazy and I wanna do something.
yeah. So tell me about how growing up. Did you grow up here in the area?
I did. Not too far from here, actually. So I was born and raised in Mansfield. I
Mhm.
grew up on a farm. So I always had like the cows out there that, some days they might have gotten loose and they're right outside my bedroom window. So that's always a pleasant way to wake up. But we had a big yard and we always did a lot of playing and outdoors. And I just loved being out there.
You have siblings?
I have an older sister. I
Ah,
always have to specify she's older.
she's older. Yes, yes, yes. That's important. Important
Yep. And
distinction.
then she's got, I have 6 nieces and nephews. And yeah,
So she has 6
she
kids.
does. She
Wow.
has
That's
3, and then she adopted 3 when they were little. Yep.
wow.
She's got a big heart, big heart.
Yeah. Oh, so do you. It sounds
Thank you.
like it runs in the family.
Yep,
That come from your mom or
absolutely. My mom and my dad.
your mom and your dad
Yep.
both have big hearts. So is there someone in your life that really inspired you, Kelly?
I think there's many different people at different points in my life that inspired me.
Mhm.
My mom and dad, of course, they influenced and inspired me at a very young age. I think I get a lot of my work ethic and my responsibility from them. But I think at different stages, there was this one gal, and I always think about her. It was my early 20s, and that's when I was at my point in my life of, okay, do I need to become an adult now and be responsible and, get things straight, or do I still be that young 20-some-year-old? But she kind of made it where I wanted to become a better version of myself and of just a better person in general. So she was my mom at the place that I worked at that point, and I never wanted to come into the office and have a bad story to tell her, or if she would tell me, "You don't wanna do that. You're going don't do that." So she kinda made me wanna be a better person, and then we always called her mom. So I'm like, "Oh, don't tell mom that, me and my girlfriend went out to the club that night." It's like, "Don't tell mom." So but she just was always there.
Mhm.
She represented something that I wanted to be. She was very responsible. She had a huge heart. She just was an overall good person. And so she just made me want to step up my game. And I did. I was like, okay, it's time for me to become that version of myself and the adult and be on
Mhm.
the right path. So I
And
owe a lot to her.
and now you pass that on.
I try.
Yeah,
I
you
definitely
exhibit
try.
that same behavior,
I do try.
right?
She'll be proud.
Yes, yes, I'm sure she would. She's still it's someone that's in your life?
We text occasionally. She's gone through a lot of life changes, but yeah, I show her pictures of my granddaughter and she'll send me some of her grandson, which is so crazy that I tell her, I have a granddaughter because
Yeah.
she was there at the very early stages of my life. So it's just odd that we've went through all those life
Mm,
changes together.
mhm.
But yeah, I don't keep in touch with her nearly as enough, which I think is part of life and friends. And you don't
Sure.
you don't get to spend as much time as you think you should.
Yeah. So when you look back on your life, your younger self, let's say your 18-year-old self, 21-year-old self, is there anything you would do different?
Oh, Kathy. um, Honestly, no, because I think everything, the good and the bad, it molded who I am today. So now there was a few things I could probably have done without in my life, but again, I think that developed my character a little bit more. So whether it was a strong, sense of this, or if I, did something stupid with that, it still made me who I am today. And I think I value that.
Yeah. Was there a particular adversity that you went through that really shaped you and helped build your character?
Um, I would say more recently, my fiance, just he, and again, we've been together for about 11 years. And I think he just made me want to be a better person as well.
Mhm.
He's made me want to strive for more and want to have more goals and want to do more in my life. So I do owe a lot that to him,
What's his name?
Todd.
Todd. So
I call
Todd
him Stephen. Like we go by our last names. Like so many people don't even know. Like a group
Yeah,
of our friends don't even know my first name's Kelly. They're like, we just know you by Story.
Story.
So
Story and Stefan.
Story and Stefan.
Yeah, and so 11 years?
Yep.
11 plus years. Yeah.
That's a long time.
That's yeah, Todd.
Yep.
That's, gonna put a ring on it? Is that
He
like that?
did. I
Oh,
just
he did. Okay, so alright.
Yep,
So,
he did.
yeah, alright. That's a long courtship.
We'll see when, all the plans come into play.
Yeah,
Again, it might be like I was saying earlier, we do all these off-roading, so it might be on one of
yeah,
our trips sometime.
yeah,
It'll be
yeah.
a last minute thing.
Right on the edge of a mountain.
Yeah.
Yes. Could go this way, could go that way. Do you wanna
Yep.
take this trip or yeah, that's good.
But he's
Ah,
brought a lot of good in my life, like his daughter and his son and the grandbaby, like, so I'm very grateful for them. He brought me into the so we were a member, or we are members of an elite group that do a lot of tactical training. Now, I don't wanna talk guns because I know guns can be very political nowadays,
Mhm.
but it wasn't even about the guns, but it was more I wanted to learn how to protect myself and defend my family if ever any time came to be about. So, we became members, and it was by 3 Navy SEAL brothers, which their story themselves is fascinating, but they taught us a bunch of different personal defense, unarmed personal defense. So, funny story, we did it
From being Navy SEALs.
from being Navy SEALs. It was a 2-day training, and
You and Todd.
me and Todd,
Okay.
we went down there. We did a bunch of different type of tactical training, but
Mhm.
this one here was special. It was a complete life-changing training.
Okay.
So, it was a 2-day event. We went down there and went through so many different type of scenarios and different trainings, and one thing I loved about this group is they never took it easy on me. I'm like, if I'm getting mugged in the Walmart parking lot, they're not gonna take it easy on me because I'm a female, so I didn't want that. I didn't wanna be any less.
Mhm.
And they didn't. They treated me just like everybody else, and they were hard on me. So we did this one training. I don't wanna give too much of the way because I know that they still do a lot of this, but in one of these trainings, we I went one way, my knee went the other, and I went down.
Oh.
And so they were like, "Well, you know our phrase, if you still have a pinky left to fight, you still fight." And I'm like, "Okay, I got this," because I don't wanna ever
Oh,
quit, I never
yeah.
wanna give up. So I stood up, took one step forward, and down I went again. And I was like, "I think my pinky's broke."
Oh,
So
no.
they ended up stopping the scenario that was playing out. And they wrapped up my leg, and I'm like, "It didn't hurt." That was the thing, it didn't hurt, it won't work. So they put me to the side, and I still wanted to finish out the training because again, it was day 2. So there was a couple more scenarios that they were going to go through, and I did it standing on one leg, hopping around. And I'll tell you what, though, I'm like, if I was gonna ever have a torn ACL,
So it was a torn
it was
ACL.
a torn
So you couldn't
ACL.
even bend your leg,
No, I couldn't bend my leg, and every now and then I would stand
and you
up
still
and it would
kept
fall.
going.
I still kept going.
Kelly.
It was pretty remarkable, but I wanted to finish it, and that was the thing. I wanted to be a part of it because it
Mhm.
was a life-changing, and I did learn so much, and I'm like, "Well, if I'm in that situation where I'm trying to defend, I wanna be able to, prove I could still do it." So, yeah, they wrapped it up, and I did the best that I could, and then I ended up with an MRI, and it was torn ACL. So I had surgery. I'm like, "What kind of a story, though, is that?" Like,
That
if
is a
I was
story.
going to do any type of injury, I did training with the Navy SEALs.
Yeah, yeah, wow, you showed how tough you are, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wanna be the guy who comes up to you in the Walmart parking lot.
I don't wanna have a guy come up
No,
to me in
I
the
don't
parking lot,
either,
but I wanted to.
but I feel like you could defend yourself there.
I that was
Yeah.
important to me, and, Todd did open up my eyes to that whole world too because I handled guns and I handled weapons,
Yeah.
but for me, I wanted to be able to handle it in a safe manner, and I wanted to feel confident with my skill set. So
Mhm.
that way, if I ever had to defend myself or my family or, my neighbor, I
Yeah,
wanted to feel confident in being able to do
absolutely.
so.
Yeah. And so now your stepson is helping you by doing the jujitsu moves on you
Yep.
too. What's his name?
Trip.
Trip?
Yep.
Yeah, well,
He
Trip
is a trip.
Trip is a trip. See, you have all these men in your life that are trying to make sure that
I
you're
can defend
safe.
myself.
Yes, you can defend
I've
yourself.
learned how to tap
Yeah.
out. He'll put me in a choke just like that. I'm like, "Kid."
Stop. My safe word,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he's taught me a lot too, and it's fun to practice those moves, and he came up to me one day, and it was so quick, and all of a sudden, I was on my butt, and I was like he goes, "That was the dummy move." I was like, "Well, there we go."
That sounds like
It
fun.
is fun.
Uh, so Kelly, if you could meet anyone, famous, someone from the past that's no longer here, is there anyone that you would really like to meet?
Oh, geez. That's a good question. I would like to meet my grandma. She
Mm,
passed away before I was born. It was my dad's mom.
mhm.
My dad's father passed away when I was 5. And I remember, for some reason, I remember him so vividly. And I remember him telling me one time that he's going to go somewhere and I wasn't allowed to go with him. And I was like, well, why not? He's like, well, I'm not coming back. And I was like, okay. And I swear this all happened, but then I'm like, well, maybe it was a dream, but it was so vivid. But he was like, "Nope, I'm gonna go. I'm not coming back. You just gotta make sure everyone knows that I'm okay." And I'm like, "Alright,
And
alright."
you're 5.
I'm like 5 or 6. Everything happened to me when I was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But, I was right around that age. And then not too long after that, he passed away. And I remember, like, everyone at my mom and dad's house, and everyone's sad and, crying, and I'm like, "He told me he was leaving. Like, why is everyone so sad? He knew he was gonna go. Why and he told me I couldn't go with him." So, I remember that, and I just told my dad that not too long ago because 'cause I'm like, it was so vivid to me, and I'm like, "I am 100% confident that that actually happened." But my grandma, I never got to meet. She passed away before
Mhm.
I was born. So it would just be nice because I get told that I look a little bit like her. So it'd been nice
Yeah.
just to see that woman and
What
who
what
she
a
was.
what a beautiful gift your grandpa gave you,
Yeah.
though. Isn't that cool? I mean, he obviously knew,
Yep. I
right?
think so. I think
That
he
I
knew
Yeah.
and he just wanted to put me at ease. And
Yes.
but I
Yeah.
remember always remember sitting on his lap like I was his girl.
Yeah.
So I remember very vividly the times that he was up. They were from Kentucky, so they would
Mm.
come up, and him and my Uncle Ted would come and hang out at my mom and dad's house, and it was just
Mhm.
that moment is what I remember the most, though. It's like I knew he was going to go,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I was his girl.
You were his girl. When you look back over your life, is there a moment or something that you're the most proud of?
I think just who I am today, where I'm at today. I
Mhm.
want to strive for more, and I am not one to want to just stay in the same spot for the next 30 years. I want to
Mhm.
kind of keep pushing myself and see how far I can go and where I can end up because I know that there's a great future out there. So I just want to keep pushing and
Yeah.
believing in myself and keep doing it.
That's awesome.
I want your job, Kathy. No, I
Hey,
really
good.
don't.
I'm looking for somebody who wants this job in the
not
future.
not
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. No, that would be awesome. So Kelly, I want to turn the table here and give you an opportunity to ask me any question that you might have.
Is there anything that you regret not doing when you were younger?
That's a good question. It's hard to have regrets when I look at my life today and I'm happy with how it turned out, right? I think that if I had to say a regret, it would be not being living in the moment enough,
Yeah.
like, you're so busy, like, young when you're younger in your 20s and your 30s, and I had 2 daughters and a career and all the things, and, you're just rushing through life, like, you're just, "Okay, eat your breakfast, get dressed, okay, after work, it's time for bath, time for dinner,"
Yeah.
and you're so focused on the little things, the day to day, that you don't really like live in the moment or enjoy life as much as you should. So I probably would enjoy the journey
Do
more.
you do that more now
Oh
today?
yeah, yeah, absolutely I do.
I feel
Yeah.
I need to do that more because I am very routine. It's like, okay,
Yes.
now it's this time, we gotta do that. So
Yeah.
I need to step back a little and do
Right.
that.
Yeah, actually, we've talked a little bit about meditation that,
Yep.
for the last 15 years, it's kind of been a daily practice of mine
Yep.
doing meditation. I think that's helped me a lot just to be more in the moment and live more in the moment and enjoy what's happening in front of me. Well, Kelly, this has been such a fun conversation with
Thank
you.
you.
You're such a fun person and so spontaneous, and I can tell you're just living life to the fullest.
I try.
Yeah, Kelly Story, you inspire me.
Thank you.
Thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for having me.